Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Paranormal News. Tonight's article comes from lifenews.com, and this is a wild one. Y'all are going to like this. It's kind of out there. And the headline is Scientists Create Human-Pig Hybrids for Organ Transplants That Could Develop into Monsters. It was written by Micah Bilger, and it was published January 27th, 2017. Scientists announced this week that they successfully created the first human-pig hybrid, a living pig embryo with some human characteristics. National Geographic reports the disturbing new experiment involved pig embryos injected with human cells. Researchers at Salk Institute for Biological Studies in La Jolla, California, I might have mispronounced that, said they implanted the living pig human embryos, or chimeras, in adult pigs' wombs and allowed them to grow between 3 and 4 weeks. Later, the scientists said they removed the creatures, which then died, and studied them. Jun Wu, a lead study author, told National Geographic that the researchers created 186 later-stage pig human embryos that survived until removed from the womb. We estimate each had about 1 in 100,000 human cells, Wu said. Here's more from the India Times. Juan Carlos Espusa Belmonte, the project's leader, said the ultimate goal is to grow functional and transplantable tissue or organs. But we are far away from that. This is an important first step. This experiment is only the first stage, and a fully developed pig-human, scientists say, is a long way away. A fully developed chimera with human tissue can be used to study human disease and the differences in organs in different species. Concerns have been expressed over the ethics of this experiment and anxiety over what animals with human brains mean to society, Belmonte said. The idea of having an animal being born composing of human cells creates some feelings that need to be addressed. Not everything that science can do, we should do. We are not living in a niche lab. We live with other people, and society needs to decide what can be done. Our next challenge is to improve efficiency and guide the human cells into forming a particular organ in pigs. The experiment was funded by private donors because it was not eligible for taxpayer funding in the United States, according to the reports. There is widespread societal discomfort with the ethics of creating creatures that are part human, part animal, but it has not stopped several U.S. research groups from delving into the controversial experimentation anyway. University of Rochester researchers implanted newborn mice with nascent human glial cells to test brain activity involved with learning and memory, Life News reported. The University of Wisconsin also has conducted human-animal hybrid studies. Scientists at the University of California, Davis, also are trying to use pigs as biological incubators to grow human organs, according to the report. Walter Lowe, a professor at the University of Minnesota, said scientists hope to develop a method to grow various organs for transplant, including pancreases, hearts, livers, kidneys, lungs, and corneas. Lowe explained that the cells would be taken from the patient needing an organ and used to grow an exact genetic copy of that organ in a pig embryo. This method would reduce the chance of a patient's body rejecting the organ transplant, he said. Bioethicist Wesley Smith has previously warned about experiments with human-animal hybrids and letting scientists police themselves, because they often throw ethics and a respect for human life out the window. The real question is, when are we going to enforce the regulations with sharp teeth? Do we need to criminalize these experiments to get scientists to stop? Because when we say ban certain kinds of experiments, we are pejoratively labeled as anti-science, and that we should trust the scientists not to stray too far afield. Talk is cheap. The truth is, I think many scientists oppose any permanent and meaningful restraint on themselves and each other. If I'm right, society will have to forcefully take matters into its own hands. And that is the end of this article. Now, not only is this an interesting and cool article, but it also proves something that we've talked about on past episodes of Staring, which is that there is experimentation being done to create human-animal chimeras. They talk about them in this article, that they are mixing human cells and animals to create new creatures, essentially. Now, the reason they're doing it in this article is to grow organs for transplant into humans, and just to study the effects of the disease on human tissue. So the question here is not whether these things exist, because they do. They admitted that they're doing it. There's many, many places that are researching it, and they've even admitted that they were successful in doing this. So the question of whether they exist or not is not even a question. They absolutely exist. This is being done 100%. Here's your proof. But the real question is, what do you think about it? Are you okay with it? Now, you have a lot of animal rights kind of people that are against testing on animals. You see that a lot in the cosmetic industries and the medical industries and everything. They're always protesting, they're always pissed off because these scientists are testing their products and testing cures and medicines and doing all these experiments on animals. And they don't like it. People don't like that. They get upset about it. Now, here we're talking about not only experimentation on animals, but you're talking about using an animal to grow human organs that can be taken from that animal, killing the animal, and transplanted into a human to keep the human alive. Is that something that you personally feel is okay to do? Are you okay with animals being created and raised just to be tortured and killed? Because remember, we're not just talking about harvesting an organ here. We're also talking about testing the effect of different diseases on the human tissue. So that means they're going to be injecting these animals, these pigs, with different types of diseases, different types of biological weapons, and all kinds of stuff to see what the effect would be on human tissue. So if that's not torture, I don't know what the hell else is. I mean, that's definition of torture right there. So let me know down in the comments what you thought of the article. And let me know down in the comments if you're okay with this. I mean, the ultimate goal is to save human life. So they have a noble goal, at least, in this. But the animals are going to suffer. There's just no denying that. So are you cool with torturing these animals to save human life? Now, there's no right or wrong answer here as far as I'm concerned. It's whatever you think. For me personally, I don't know, it's a tough one. In a way, I feel that we're playing God here a little bit too much. And also, I don't like the idea of torturing these animals. That's not cool. Not in my mind. But the end goal of saving human life is a noble goal. And the idea of growing these organs to be able to transplant into human beings and save them sounds like a good thing. But is it worth what we're going to do to these animals? That's the question that everybody has to answer for themselves. So let me know what you think. And as always, it's completely up to you to make up your own mind. And I will catch you on the next one. Until I speak to you again. Love many, trust few, and do harm to none. God loves you, and so do I. Bye-bye.